In this episode, we are going to discuss 5 ways remarriage raises the stakes and how smart couples prepare.
Yeah, remarriage isn't just a second chance, it's a higher stakes game most couples underestimate.
And it's interesting because there are challenges with remarriage that most couples don't see, and that happened to us. Like, we really needed counseling and someone to help and guide us, and when we went through that, we were just like so thankful. So we want to do that today. We want to discuss some things. Remarriage is different from marriage.
It is different. And if you don't recognize how remarriage raises the stakes, you risk repeating the same mistakes.
Yeah, we don't want that.
No.
And, in our remarriage, we had counseling from the beginning. Well, we had pre-counseling, pre-marriage.
Pre-counseling,
Yes.
yeah.
Some of the things that were brought up were interesting because we never even thought of them for our remarriage because we didn't even know to think of it. So we're going to share some of those things, with you because there's challenges that you don't see coming if you're basing it on your old marriage.
That's true.
You've probably heard us mention this before.
We were the children of divorced parents, and we both have been divorced ourselves.
And now we're 15 years strong in our remarriage journey. So trust us when we say we get it when starting over and building a new life together. If you're ready to reclaim your power in love, life, and money, I wrote Power Over All just for you. It's real, it's encouraging, and it's meant to walk with you as you heal and grow. There's also a companion journal to help you track your progress and reflect all year long. Grab your copy today and step fully into the power God already gave you. Links in the description. Now let's get back to the episode.
And so the first topic we're going to talk about is the emotional baggage multiplier.
In remarriage.
In remarriage, there's
Yes.
a lot of baggage that you're taking from your previous marriage, and you may be unconsciously bringing them into your new marriage.
Yes. So you really want to have emotional maturity when you come into a remarriage.
Yes.
And if that's something that you're working on, that's great because you'll need it.
Oh, you're going to need it because there's a lot of things to do in a remarriage.
One is the trust. You have to build trust with another person, especially if there is betrayal or there is infidelity, things like that. You will know that you'll still have feelings in your new marriage that you're going to have to address.
Yeah. And another thing you want to deal with is the fear of repeating those past mistakes I was talking about. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, when they think about their previous marriage, they think about what went right and what went wrong. And so you have a lot of thought processes, feelings, and just ways of going forward in your new marriage. And you're thinking it may be the same as your previous marriage, but it's not.
Mm-hmm. So with that emotional baggage, you really want to make sure that any hidden wounds you're addressing, because they will come up in your marriage. A lot of people feel like I just can't afford another divorce emotionally or financially.
Yeah.
And that's how they're coming into the remarriage. So the help or the support that you'll need with that is real. For us,
that's because I believe when we first got together and we got married, we didn't have that secure bond yet. We didn't develop that. And so
we took everything a little bit more sensitive, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like,
yeah,
if
we
you
would
said
say something.
if you said something to me, I'd be like, well, I'm this or I'm doing that, and you're doing that. I mean, it was really,
There's a lot of pointing fingers.
it was a lot of defensive,
and defensiveness, and saying you this and you that.
Yeah.
That's not what we want to do to have a successful remarriage.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we want to get past being defensive in our communication, we have to heal.
We have to heal, and we have to remember we're on the same team.
We're on the same team.
I think that was the best advice that was given, and for us to learn how to flow in that, to learn how to flow on the same team, because we ended our marriages, our first marriage, being like
battling. You feel like the other person is on somebody else's team.
Right.
They're not on your team.
And you can get habits of that. Like,
Yeah.
you can bring that habit over to your new marriage.
Yes.
So I'm battling my spouse instead of being on one accord with them.
I remember one day being in a seminar where someone brought out a tic-tac-toe, and there's X's and there's zeros or O's. And they said, play the game. They told us all to play the game, right? And so everybody's trying to win. Everybody's trying to beat, who's an X? They're trying to beat the O's.
Right.
If you're an O, you're trying to beat the X's. And then they said, okay, now work together and do this. And what they meant by that was you're on the same team. If you are X's, so if your last name is the Johnsons or the Chavaskis or whatever it may be.
What last names are those?
Well, that could be a Russian name. I'm not sure. But my thing is, whatever it is, you're all on the same team.
Yes.
That's my point. We want to be on the same team. So that means that if we're X, we're going to both agree that we're going to go right here. This is our move. So that means that we're going to have agreement for our next move.
And I think with that, it's been said that remarriage isn't about two people. It's about two histories entering the room.
Yeah, it is. You have a history. I have a history.
Yeah.
Every last one of us has our own prior history. And so we have to heal from that. And we have to make sure that we're not pretending that we're healing. So one of the things that we like to discuss with Remarried Love is that if we're going to talk about healing, let's talk about real healing, not pretend healing, so that we can go forward into the next level.
Now, what's real healing?
Real healing to me versus pretending is if someone asks you, are you okay? Don't lie. No, I'm not okay. I didn't like what you did. I didn't like what you said. There was something that, happened.
Well, we're supposed to say it made me feel this way.
Well, you're right. It should say that.
We don't attack each other.
I'm not attacking, but what I'm trying to say is we're not going to lie to ourselves or the other person and say, yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, you
when
have to.
I'm really not okay.
Right.
Because then I'm going to feel that frustration is going to go under the rug. And now 5, 10, 15 years later, what you did to me back then, I still remembered it because I didn't get rid of it. And I was pretending that I was healed, but I really wasn't healed.
And another thing that we dealt with was being able to recover quickly.
Yes.
We noticed that both of us in an argument, it took us down like longer than it ever did in any other conflicts we may have had with our exes or just anybody.
Other people, yeah.
It just was like if we got to the point where we're arguing, we had a hard recovery time. We had to learn that.
And I think that happens sometimes, especially when you actually love that person. You want to be in alignment with that individual, but you're misaligned. Things are not working correctly.
Or the trigger came in. So
yes,
you're saying something to your spouse. Let's say I'm like, why didn't you take the trash out? And you may be like, well, I don't know why you said it like that.
Just for the record, I'm not sure if that was one of the arguments or upsetness.
No, I'm just giving an example that, we haven't had that one. Maybe we should think of a real one we've had.
A real misalignment? Yes.
Yeah, that we've had, that we had to like work through that of how we say things to each other. I may question you
It could have been something really simple.
Yeah, usually it is with a remarriage. I think it was the tone that I may have asked you.
Okay.
I know. I said, well, I told you something. I just meant it like, I told you, but you didn't like the way I worded it. Mm-hmm. And so it made you upset, but it was loaded with other things that I didn't do.
Because I'm saying, why didn't you ask me this?
Right. And
you're telling me this, you're telling me that, but you're not asking. So that could be a trigger.
Right. And what I noticed or what I realized is you weren't mad. Like you weren't mad, but it didn't rub you it didn't rub you the right way, not just because of me. It was your past.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of history and a lot of triggers that people are coming to new relationships with that they haven't dealt with. And also what I believe is there's unconscious triggers, things that you didn't know affected you back then. And so now someone says or does something or they move a certain way, and now that makes you explode. It makes you go off. It makes you talk to your spouse with a little discontent.
With a little bitterness. And I think for me, that's one thing I had to check. Like, I am saying this, but I feel like a little bitterness, and you didn't really do anything for me to feel so deeply or so angry.
On 100.
Like, yeah, like I'm on 100 for something that should have been just a 3. So that is one thing or one area that remarriage raises the stakes.
It does.
And that's why remarriages don't have a
good percentage of
successful
success. Yeah.
remarriages. And I think it's because that emotional tension and that emotional multiplier that is in remarriage isn't addressed correctly.
Yes.
But you can plan, you can prepare your remarriage so that the emotional triggers don't bring you down.
Well, one of the things I like what you've done is you've helped explain that if you understand that there are emotional triggers, then you can be aware unconsciously that something can come up.
That's
because
not
if you don't,
from you. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you don't know about it, then you're like, well, what is this? What are we dealing with? Why are you talking to me like that? And now you don't have the fact that, oh, these things could come up.
Oh, that person dealt with that.
Yes. It allows you to give grace
yeah,
too.
I didn't realize that. And now I understand, which in turn, like what we were saying, helps you to recover quicker.
Yes.
Which you're going to have to do. Like remarriage and recovering from your feelings have to go hand in hand.
We were talking about sports, and so that's what we were getting it from, which is you have to recover faster. You can't
get back in there.
Get back in the game, recover.
You have to go to the tent. That's like in the football.
That's football. And then come back.
Come back and play.
And play this game.
And
Let's
keep
do
going.
it. Yeah. Be the best professional that you can be.
And I don't know if like we learn that if we're married and we're hurt, then we're like done. And maybe that was like how we were dealing with things at the end of a marriage. Like, well, I'm done. And we just have this
So
I'm done mentality, but you can't be done. You have to not.
No, you're just starting. So you were done before and you had,
Yeah.
But now you have a continuation of it because you didn't deal with it. But now this is a fresh, new, created remarriage.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a new creation, and it's a new remarriage that you're going forward in. It's the beginning. Whether it's been 10, 15 years, it's still the beginning because you want to do this for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So the second time you're considering marriage, it's not just about love anymore. We hope that this helps you with the 5 ways remarriage raises the stakes, and now you know how smart couples prepare.
Right. And you can approach it with wisdom instead of fear.
Yes. This was a great conversation.
It was needed.
And so thanks for listening to this episode, and we hope to see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.